Call of Duty has recently gone through a stage where it has already announced its next game. The next Call of Duty for 2018 is going to be Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Now, what timeline this game is necessarily supposed to take place in, and necessarily everything that's going on, is beyond me. The only thing we got was a reveal trailer, which was mostly just showing a recap of the previous games, and as a whole, this has gotten people, for the most part, pretty dang excited for whatever reason. Now, this is where my opinion is not going to be that well liked. It's not going to be that well enjoyed. And frankly put, I doubt that anyone who's really a big fan of this franchise is even going to bother listening to me. And that's why, frankly put, I'm going to say what I want and say what needs to be said. Because honestly, while many have come in with this excitement, especially considering it's a Treyarch game, and I admit that Treyarch is usually the best at these sort of games with Call of Duty, nevertheless, I actually think that if Black Ops 4 ends up becoming a futuristic game, just like Black Ops 2 and 3 was, and frankly put, if it goes in the direction that I think it'll go in, I think it will be a wrong turn for the Call of Duty series. And ultimately, I think it will just further harm the franchise in the long run. Now, people are like, Orange, how could you think this? How can you think that Call of Duty is going to continuously go downhill when it's Treyarch? They're usually the brand that makes Call of Duty good, the brand that makes Call of Duty well liked and well deserved as the crown of the shooters, blah, 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 blah. And that's because the honest truth is that if BO4 takes place within the future, or within this context where it goes back to futuristic tech, back to all this crap, and more importantly, disregards what Call of Duty is at its roots, then it's going to go right back to the series going downhill in a trend. Because despite World War II not being a great game as far as execution went, the ideas that were put into it as far as the general direction was the correct route for the series, and I think it should have continued that way. Now, granted, does that mean I want another World War II shooter in Call of Duty? No, that's not what I'm referring to, but the historical area, the fact where Call of Duty is going back to this timeline where it's at its roots, it's at its general principles, at its core, and people start to remember where COD started in the first place. Because people tend to regard it, and I think the Modern Warfare Remaster was a good example of this, that people regard the Modern Warfare series as the first Call of Duties in a sense. And it's like, as much as I understand that the Modern Warfare series is what jump-started COD to become the really big popular franchise that it is today, it's not what made Call of Duty the start. That's not what started this franchise. It started as a World War II shooter to respect the veterans that fought in all these historical wars. And I think sacrificing that this early, especially when people are gaining a foothold on this again, when people are actually appreciating this setting, is, in my opinion, setting up this next game to just mold in with other generic shooters in the market. It further deviates COD from being unique in a sense, because as much as I don't give it complete credit for going back to this historical setting since Battlefield 1 did it before it, at least Call of Duty didn't do it for the sake of competition. It did it for the sake of itself. It went back to a setting because that's what fans wanted. It went back to a setting because that's what legitimately Activision, for once, correctly so, thought was best for the series. And I think that it was a direction that, while had a couple of execution issues, was nevertheless good for the series, and I looked forward for it continuing to see what would be next. But that being said, now we're here in Black Ops 4. We're essentially now, we're in this position where, quite literally, Call of Duty is now becoming either this futuristic thing or this modern shooter, which, don't get me wrong, it's great. It would be great to see a modern Call of Duty again. But the problem with that is it's too soon. It's too soon to try to touch this futuristic crap again, because I'm almost afraid they're going to do it. It's like many say that Black Ops 4 is going to be this modern, take place in modern day. But why is it called Black Ops 4 then? Why is it called a game that's supposed to be a sequel to Black Ops 3? If it's going to take place in this complete different timeline. And that in it of itself makes me angry. Because if they actually make it modern day and call it a Black Ops game, then it's like, are you serious? Are you legitimately being serious? Like, are you just trying to push the Black Ops name so much for marketing that you can't even be original and just try to start up something new? And in context, that's really bad for the sake of this series as well. It's like, I don't know if people understand this or not, but in the long run, for the longevity of Call of Duty, it can't rely on brand recognition anymore. It just can't. World War II only succeeded because it's what people wanted. And while, yes, like I said, it could have been a lot better. There was a lot of things that were clearly unfinished, clearly not prone to a lack of mistakes, and without a doubt, it had a lot of flaws. And do I consider it inferior to like World at War in most aspects? Yes. But at least, at the very least, it's what people wanted. It's what people asked for. How many people have been asking for a Black Ops 4? Not many. Not many people said, oh, I would love to see a Black Ops 4. I would love to see this semi-futuristic game again. Like, people made it abundantly clear with Infinite Warfare that we don't want this. We don't want this. Historical, yes. Modern, yes. But Call of Duty does not belong in this futuristic setting where it completely contradicts the very title of the series. The purpose of Call of Duty was, and I think people have grown to forget this due to how old this franchise has become. Call of Duty was originally made out of respect of the historical soldiers that fought within World War II in these historical timelines, and later in time, modern times. As much as the Modern Warfare series, at least in the context, yeah, like, as much as the Modern Warfare series was completely fiction, it was still made in a way, at least the original, was made in a way to respect the soldiers that are fighting in the everyday lines now. And it's so weird that Call of Duty tends to forget this, that the very name of your franchise, the first question that should be asked when making a Call of Duty game is this respectable to the name that we're giving it, Call of Duty? And in the case of Black Ops, it was about this underground team, and it's like, it's like, the only games that were really faithful to that was Black Ops 1 and 2, because they were grounded. They were grown into this gritty realism. And were they necessarily realistic stories? No, far from it, but they were nevertheless stories worth telling. And then Black Ops 3 came and screwed it all over, and created this continuity mess. And it's like, is Black Ops 4 just gonna follow that? Like, I don't get it. Like, people think that, oh, just because it doesn't have enhanced mobility, it's automatically good. Like, no. I made this context with World War II as well. Taking out what people mostly complained about doesn't fix every problem in the game. Does it fix the most obvious problem? Yes, but it doesn't solve every problem. And it's like, the context with Black Ops 4 is that, look, am I going to judge it this early completely? No. Not at all, but I'm just trying to warn people that are already getting hyped, that are already joining the hype train, and already trying to get themselves in this position of, oh, it's Treyarch, it must be good, it must be this fantastic game, and blah, blah, blah. I'm warning you. The blind hype is what led to Infinite Warfare existing. The blind hype is what led to Activision refusing to listen to us. The blind hype is what led to microtransactions and half content-based games. These blind hype is the reason this kind of stuff continues to exist. Half a content, microtransactions, false advertising. and games that just disappoint us. And I'm just saying, like, if you're legitimately looking forward to and heck, even excited for Black Ops 4, then be my guest. Be excited for the game. Look forward to what it, like, will look like. But please, don't already jump on the bandwagon of saying that this game is automatically going to be good because it's made by Treyarch. When honestly, in the context of Black Ops 3, at least through my opinion, I know there's at least some people that liked Black Ops 3. Like, I know that it was received fairly well. But at least through the context of my opinion, Black Ops 3 was not a good game. And at least through the context of that, Treyarch can't depend on its name alone anymore. And it shouldn't. No studio should rely on the name alone to get people excited for it. What the game has and what reflects it is show that. Oh my gosh. Sorry I can't speak that well, guys. It's just I've been going through freaking cold after cold with, how the winter's been. It's been brutal. But this is the reason why. It's like, if you want to truly get people hyped for your game, then you need to actually show them things. You need to show them things that can get people excited. Real innovation, real principle, real good game design, real good content, good story, good gameplay. And it's like, the recent cons, even World War II has suffered that. And it's like, now we've jumped in Black Ops 4 where we don't know when it's going to take place in. And like I said, as far as we know, it could be just another futuristic game. And if you want that, all the power to you. But it's like, to the majority of us who, after Infinite Warfare, was complaining nonstop that we wanted a historical, boots-on-the-ground based game, and now all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's okay if it's in the future again. What the freak? Commit to what you want. Because it's downright hypocritical if you go from one thing and go to the other. Okay? It's downright hypocritical. Commit to what you want. Okay? If you want COD to go in the past, great. If you want to go in the present, great. If you want to go in the future, great. If you think that each studio should do a different setting, great. All the power to you. But it's like, you have to understand that don't let yourself be consumed by blind hype. Actually observe the game and see how it fares before you join the hype train. Before you say that, oh my gosh, Black Ops 4 is going to be the greatest game of all time and all that, because the comments within the revealed trailer already have people saying this. And it's like, seriously, does Call of Duty's track record truly speak that at this point? It's like, Call of Duty World War II succeeded, not really because of the game itself. It's because that the marketing and the general hype train surrounding it was bloody fantastic. But it, at least in some ways, deserved it, because it was finally listening to people. It was finally giving us somewhat what we wanted. But I digress. Look, my point is, it's just wait till actual gameplay comes out. Wait till E3 occurs before joining this hype train. Before actually going like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest game of all time. Oh my gosh, it's going to beat Battlefield this year, even though Battlefield's going to make this better version of Call of Duty World War II with Battlefield 5, which is supposed to take place in World War II. And it's like, just take these things into account, please. Until then, guys, that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I'm sorry about the rambling. I'm sorry about me constantly doing the pauses. It's just my throat's been dry. I've been battling out cold after cold nonstop during this winter. So hopefully when spring hits, things will get a little bit easier for me. But yeah. I also apologize for the lack of content I've been doing. As of right now, it's just been really busy as far as keeping up with grades and a lot of my friends have been catching up with me that I haven't seen in a while, and most importantly, I've been trying to focus more on the real aspects of my life with my family, and, you know, it's all been, you know, I'm not going to say it's kept me from this, because this is what I chose, most of it anyways, but it's like, it's the reason why I haven't been making videos, and frankly, do I regret anything that I chose? No. But does that mean that I think it's fair for you guys to have to wait like this, especially without me notifying you? Also no. So I'm going to try to make a good deal of content, some actual good content in the near future. I'm also, with The Last Jedi about to hit Blu-ray, I'm also going to be using that as a medium to try to start back up my Versus series, which I kind of took a break from, mostly because of just because the amount of time it takes to make them is downright ridiculous. So, and not only that, but I just kind of ran out of ideas, and a lot of the sequel trilogy characters I wanted to use, I wanted to wait till Last Jedi came out so I could actually, like, fully observe how they would be. Some would be really good to use, others I was kind of let down by the Versus potential. So, yeah, but I digress. Thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate you watching the video. Please like up, subscribe, post a comment below on what you think, and also, if you can, share the video. Like, I just want to be able to interact with people, get a nice community, and, you know, it's nice having these discussions. Even if people don't agree with me, when they take the time to, you know, talk to me and all that and just tell me their opinions, it goes a long way. So yeah, until then guys, this is Orange 927. I'll see you next time. Peace.